Have you ever been a little frustrated because uh, you speak English and you understand English to an extent, but many times you find yourself watching movies or other types of video content and you have to replay because you didn't understand the conversation? Or perhaps it was an audio of some type or a podcast and you've had to replay more than you would like to understand the conversation or try to understand the conversation. Or perhaps you're speaking to other people and you're not 100% understanding, and at times you're asking them to repeat themselves more than you would like. If that is the case, today's session is for you. Welcome to part 4, Mastering English with AI, Enhancing Listening Skills. Strong listening skills are crucial for business meetings and social conversations. Today, we'll explore how AI tools can help you understand fast speech, accents, and complex vocabulary in real-world situations. And as always, this is brought to you by Mastering English Communications. First up, in professional settings, poor listening leads to misunderstandings and missed opportunities. AI can help you catch details, key details, so you're able to identify important information while you're in a meeting. Understand accents, so you can comprehend diverse speaking styles, very important. In English, there are diverse speaking styles that anyone who's ever visited Australia, the UK, the United States, and India can tell you. Then you can also follow fast conversations. We do not all speak at the same speed. Many of us speak faster, many of us speak slower. So you'll be able to keep up with rapid dialogue. So what makes listening difficult? Well, I can tell you, non-native speakers often struggle with fast speech, connected words like wanna for want to, and then regional accents. In a country as large as the United States, where I'm from, different regions have different accents. And then, of course, there's different slang as well. Uh, and then, of course, we have words and phrases that are national slang. So it can be a little off-putting to non-native speakers at first. And then business jargon, industry-specific terms and idioms. So there's a lot. And that's why we want to use AI tools where we can to help us. So let's take a look at some game-changing AI tools. We have Otter AI or Otter.ai, which records and transcribes meetings. So you should definitely give this a try. There is a free version that you can get started with. You have ELSA Speak. ELSA Speak analyzes pronunciation patterns. And then you also have YouTube Captions, which provides real-time subtitles. And then you have something called DeepL, which translates unclear phrases. So these are real game changers. They help language learners, particularly if you're a long-time language learner like I am. Before these tools were available, to be quite honest, it was a little more difficult to learn a second language and understand the nuances as fast as you can today. Now, if you're finding this information valuable so far, please give us a like. Thank you. Let's just take a quick look at Otter.ai. This is a meeting assistant, right? It records conversations and creates searchable transcript, right? So you can use it, as I just mentioned, to record conversations, which means that you can capture meetings and discussions. You can create searchable transcripts, which of course will help you find key information quickly in the documentation. And then you can also use it to study native patterns, learn sentence structure and vocabulary much faster than we once could. Now let's take a look at ELSA Speak for accent reduction. Now, ELSA's AI compares your speech to native speakers. Right? Now, you may have problem sounds. You have to actually determine what those are and share that with the application, but it will help you master some of these difficult phonemes like TH and C and V. Then also there's word stress. Learn correct emphasis patterns. And then natural intonation. Practice speech melody. Yes, there is melody to English speech. So you want to be able to practice that, understanding that. And you can also learn with YouTube's smart captions. So you can turn on AI generated captions for any video. Uh, and also you'll have a couple of tools in there, such as slow playback, which is very valuable, obviously. It reduces the speed for better comprehension. Sometimes it's just the speed that is confusing you because you do understand what is being said when it slows down a little bit. And then you can repeat sections and review challenging parts of the script. And then you can make note of phrases and record unfamiliar expressions. This is also very valuable. And then DeepL. This is taking you beyond basic translation. So you're able to input phrases, enter confusing expressions, get natural translations. You can see contextual meanings. Very important. Many times things have in English, we have different meanings depending on the context. So the words might be the same, or the phrase might be the same, but the meaning, depending on the context, is different. And idioms might be a clear example of that. And then explore alternatives, discover related expressions. So now, you also have to set up an effective practice schedule. And you want to build a daily listening habit. So before I jump in here and a little bit and go a little bit deeper, most of us as working professionals don't have a couple of hours a day to study. So you have to really determine, do you have a coffee break's worth of time, all right? Do you only have 10 minutes or 15 minutes? If that's the case, don't frustrate yourself and not practice. You want to adjust your practice time and the content you will review to the amount of time you have. So if you have only the mornings, or the mornings are the best time, I'm a morning person in terms of language learning, then a news podcast with transcripts is a great idea. You might have a different idea, but this is just a suggestion. Then maybe you're a lunchtime person, all right? You might have extra time at lunch, or you can make the extra time at lunch. So a TED Talk that is 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes. TED Talk with captions could be very, very useful. TED Talks are very useful because speakers speak very clearly and directly because they're speaking to live audiences. Right? So this can be very, very powerful for you. And then in the evening time, TV shows without subtitles. So I like to look at TV shows as well as news podcasts. So I'm able to get a few minutes in the morning for my practice and a little bit in the evening. Right. And if it's going to be something where I know they're going to be using, in the languages that I study, they're going to be using local slang and dialect, then I will turn on the subtitles, but not in English, but but subtitles in the language that I'm studying. And I find that very helpful as well. So now you're going to do a little practice here. Okay, so pick whatever application you like. I'm going to suggest Otter AI. Right? And what you will do is you'll record a 1 minute business news clip. You'll transcribe it, use Otter AI for the text, And then you will identify any challenging words or phrases, anything that you had trouble understanding. News clips are very valuable because the person speaking is speaking very clearly. They are conscious of speaking to an audience and a wide range of people, so they are precise on purpose. So before we go to the next section, stop here, record, and see what comes out of it. You can start now. Welcome back. And I hope you found that very interesting. And if you haven't used Otter AI, then it might be one of the tools that you might want to experiment with. There are others, of course, that may be helpful. So, all right, struggling a little bit. So this is what happens when you don't understand. You want to slow down, reduce the playback speed. I do this myself. Uh, I have an application or service that provides summarized news clips for the target language that I'm looking at. And sometimes I have to play it a little slow. And sometimes I speed it up on purpose just to practice listening to faster speech. And you want to isolate, you want to focus on short segments. Use multiple tools. So there are, to some extent, free versions of many of the tools that I've mentioned throughout this series. You have to expect at some point you have to pay for a tool if you want to take it deeper, but you can certainly get started for some length of time using free tools. And obviously, YouTube is free if that's a tool that you're going to be using a lot of. I use it quite a bit. And I hope you use it and continue to use it because I record and provide classes on it, like this one. And then you can also ask Chat GPT to get explanation for phrases. Even the free version will be very, very helpful for this. Next, what are the signs you're improving? You want to track your improvement. So in terms of fewer replays, track that you're understanding the first time, right? You will feel great about it. I can still remember feeling great about the when I first started understanding news clips and things the first time, and I didn't have to replay as often. I did notice it. You will notice it. And then also different accents, comprehending various speakers from different places. Right? So you will find that native speakers might point out to you, oh, well, they're from, in terms of the United States, oh, they're from the Midwest, or they're from the South, or they're from the Southwest, or the Northwest, or the Northeast, because they can tell, right? And you'll be able to start to tell those differences as well. And then last but not least, catching idioms and understanding expressions naturally. So what are some of the key takeaways so far? We've reviewed some of the best AI tools for listening practice. There are others, so you should investigate. You might find others that fit your style of learning and budget, right? But these are to get you started. And then you also have an understanding now, or maybe a little bit better understanding, of how to analyze difficult content. We all come across difficult content. Even native speakers sometimes will have trouble with content because it might be beyond their learning or their normal interaction. And then we took a look at creating effective practice routines, right? Especially as a professional if you are time challenged. So your listening mission, transcribe. So this is a suggestion. 2-minute podcast using AI. You might want to do this daily or several times a week. Once again, set up a schedule. Do some research. What are some challenging words? I find it helpful to listen to recordings of both intermediate and advanced words, also listening to verbs, both regular and irregular. All right, there's just a hint there. And then practice. Uh, Certainly using something like ELSA, daily ELSA exercises, but pick what works for you. Right? And also, please share your experience with learning and using AI tools and tips in the comments. Once again, it helps us help you. So next time we're going to go over speaking with confidence, all right? And which is basically AI for speaking fluency. And every conversation, even if you had some difficult with it, is an opportunity to improve. And we all want to improve, obviously. And then here are just this is the last slide in the presentation. These are some free resources for practice and learning. Remember, I mentioned YouTube AI captions. So you can go to YouTube and then just do a search on AI captions. You can also do it at Google, do a search on YouTube AI captions as well. I mentioned and I highlighted Otter AI. All right, so you want to give them a try if you haven't already. And then also, in addition to the other things that I mentioned uh, in this lesson, BBC Learning English is very valuable. So I've had students and clients over the years who have used it, and I will tell you, working with them and using it has been an excellent experience. Okay, it's been a pleasure to be of service to you today. Please continue to practice. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next time as we continue our linguistic adventure together. Take care, everyone.